I've stopped buying snacks and these are what I'm making instead.
These incredibly Moorish roasted and spiced nuts, my really easy store cupboard energy balls, and lastly this addictive miso and nutritional yeast seasoned popcorn.
Welcome back to the Earthy Goodness Kitchen. Today I've got for you 3 snack recipes which are healthier, cheaper and tastier than most supermarket snacks, so let's get cooking.
For the roast nuts, instead of using oil, I'm going to whip up some aquafaba. This helps the seasoning stick to the nuts, but also gives them a delicious crust once baked. As well as spices, I'm also adding some chopped fresh rosemary, which I find really goes well with the other flavours. Then I'm adding garlic powder, smoked paprika, some cumin, a little bit of cinnamon and some dried oregano. Then throw in the fresh rosemary. I'm also going to add a touch of maple syrup. This is optional, but of course it's going to enhance the flavour and the crunch of the nuts. And lastly, just a little pinch of salt and pepper. Then simply whisk to combine all the flavourings. Next, add in your nuts. I've just got a bag of mixed nuts here, but you can use any nuts that you like. And then just mix together so that all the nuts are thoroughly coated in the seasonings. Now just spread them out onto a tray so that they've got enough space to get lovely and crunchy. Bake these for 25 to 30 minutes until they're a beautiful golden colour, stirring them every 5 to 10 minutes so that they bake evenly. They won't be crunchy straight out the oven, but once they've cooled for 10 to 15 minutes, they'll be perfectly crunchy. Now all you have to do is not eat them too quickly, which is definitely a tricky one.
Wow, yeah. Oh, that's so good. Incredibly crunchy. The seasoning has stuck so well to these. I used to just eat nuts plain, but once you tried them seasoned like this, you'll never want to go back. These are perfect for when you've got friends round or when you just want a snack before dinner. Super delicious. Definitely give these a try and let me know what you think.
Moving on to the store cupboard energy balls. I call them this because I essentially just grab whatever I can find in the cupboard and process them into this tasty snack. To start, I'm going to chop up some dark chocolate, and this is going to go in at the end. You could also use chocolate chips or cocoa nibs if you like. Then into a food processor, add your oats and a selection of nuts, and we're just going to blend this into a rough texture. Now I'll add the rest of the ingredients, starting with some medjool dates. Regular dates will work well too. Then I've got some ground flaxseed, a decent amount of desiccated coconut. We're going to add about a teaspoon of cinnamon, then 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and just a little bit of vanilla extract. Then a nut butter of your choice. I'm going to be using peanut butter, but almond butter would work well too. And it doesn't matter if it's smooth or chunky, that's totally up to you. And just a little pinch of salt. You don't need to add any extra sugar as the dates are lovely and caramelly and full of natural sugars. Blend this into a rough sand-like texture, and then I'm going to add some plant milk just to bring it together. How much you need will depend on how soft your dates are. Then we'll add the dark chocolate and blend it into a dough. All you need to do now is simply roll them out into some desiccated coconut. This is optional, but I think it looks quite nice. Recently I've got into a bad habit of picking up protein bars from the supermarket, which are expensive and mostly made of just oats and sugar. So now I make a batch of these every week, and they keep me going through work and just generally throughout the day. Also, the ingredients that go into these changes regularly depending on what I've got. Sometimes I'll add raisins instead of dates, or I might add some dried cranberries, maybe some seeds. It's totally up to you.
Nutty, chocolatey goodness. These are so delicious. I'll usually have like 2 throughout the day while I'm working to keep me energized. They're portable, which is really handy, and super tasty, so definitely give these ones a go.
For the final snack, we've got this tasty popcorn using nutritional yeast, and we're going to start by grinding it into a powder to help it stick to the popcorn. You could also use a food processor or a blender to do this. Then into a small bowl, add your miso. I prefer to use white miso, but I only had a little left, so I've got a mixture of red and white in here. Then I'm adding a touch of sesame oil and maple syrup, and then a little hot water to thin out the miso. Simply whisk together to combine, making sure there are no lumps left. Now for the popcorn, just heat up some oil. I like to throw a few kernels in there and wait for them to pop before I add the rest. Then just toss it a few times, pop a lid on, and cook until the popping starts to slow down. Then while your popcorn is still hot, you can add your miso mixture, quickly stir it through, and then add your nutritional yeast and stir to coat. It's definitely important to do it while it's hot, this helps it stick, but of course the miso mixture will help as well. It's also best to eat it fairly soon after cooking it, as it does lose its crunchiness over time. Miso is a great, healthier option than butter for getting that seasoning to stick to your popcorn. Of course, you could use different seasonings such as a curried one or a barbecue one, but this time we're doing the lovely cheesy, nutty nutritional yeast.
Really nice. You've got tangy saltiness coming from the miso, and then you've got that lovely cheesy nutty flavour coming from the nutritional yeast. A lovely alternative to just your plain like sweet or salty popcorn. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and check out this video for some more plant-based goodness.